Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent Training. Welcome to our Word of the Day series, where we cover how to pronounce American English words. Today, on February 2nd, it's a holiday in the US called Groundhog's Day, so we're going to talk about how to pronounce the name of this holiday and give you a brief introduction to what it is. First of all, Groundhog's Day is every February 2nd, and it's not really a type of holiday where people take off work or banks are closed. It's more of a tradition and more of something that may or may not be recognized by most people in the US. But the tradition is that a groundhog comes out of its burrow, and if it sees its shadow, so if it's a sunny day and the groundhog sees its shadow, that means there will be 6 more weeks of winter. And if the groundhog doesn't see his shadow, then spring will start, or spring will be coming sooner. Of course, this is just an interesting tradition, which may have arisen from some way back in the past, some tradition of animal behavior being an indication of spring, but now it's just something that we have some traditions for here in the US, and we do have the official day called Groundhog Day. So how to pronounce Groundhog's Day? I think you can say Groundhog Day or Groundhog's Day. I would probably include the possessive Groundhog's Day. So the first vowel in Groundhog's Day is the vowel ow. Ow. It's a diphthong, ground. We write it like this in the IPA, and we often spell it with OW, with AU, or OU. I like to write it with OW because it helps me think of the word brown or cow, which is what I associate with this vowel to help me remember how it sounds. And then what I would try, if you have trouble with the R sound, start with the R and try row, and then round, and finally ground. You may also find that the G helps you make that back American R, so you can try exaggerating that grr sound. This is a technique I often use when teaching people the correct placement for R, so doing or grr, ground, ground. Eventually I want to just say ground with a very quick GR combination. I don't want to linger on it. But if you have trouble with that, feel the G sound, keep the tongue back, grr, ground. Groundhog. We have the ND sound, which you may find difficult to put all those sounds on, especially if you have this R sound. So again, you can try own, ound. Make sure that you get both the N and the D. Then the vowel for the letter O in hog is vowel aw, which I often rewrite with the letters AW. Here's the IPA symbol, and this is a rounded mid vowel. So it's not an O sound, it's not an ah sound, it's more of an ah sound, hog, hog. If you use an ah sound, hog, too much for a lot of Americans. The ah and ah are pretty close to each other. But I do recommend, if you can, thinking of it as the ah with rounding, ha, hog. And then when I have a possessive or a plural with after a G sound, which is a voice sound, then my letter S says the Z sound. Groundhogs, Groundhog's Day. I tend to run those together, Groundhog's Day, not a lot of a break in between. Then I have another diphthong in the word day, which for many people when it ends, when you're saying a word like day and there's not another sound after that diphthong A, you have no trouble making it long enough and closing the jaw for the A, going from the tense to the more relaxed A. Just make sure that you hold it long enough and you'll get it correct. So I'm just going to write that again with the same spelling. AY is a very common spelling for that diphthong A. Once I can say Groundhog's Day, oh, and also we have the first syllable stress. So the main stress in Groundhog's Day, that phrase is on the ground part. So once I can say Groundhog, then I'm going to use it in some short phrases like it's Groundhog's Day today. Do you think the groundhog will see his shadow on Groundhog's Day? Happy Groundhog's Day. Okay, so maybe not the most practical of words for today. We often cover your requests as well as common words which are challenging to pronounce or are often mispronounced. But any word that you look at can be illuminative in terms of seeing accent patterns, and certainly many of you live here in the US and you might be wondering or curious about Groundhog's Day, or you might be talking about it with other people. So thank you so much for being part of our channel and our Facebook page. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye guys, I'll see you tomorrow.